When introducing this event to the community, we have received interesting questions that they would like to hear answers from Cambria and our esteemed guests. We noted key questions, and now I would love to invite our guests to share the answers. Yeah, so we have like the first five questions from Nabila Isham. Mr. Razak, yeah, the first question is like, how is the latest status of coral bleaching in global, and where can I get or access to the data? Please help to share the answer for this question. Thank you.
I need to share my screen for that.
Yes.
All right. So, how is the latest status of the bleaching and how they can get the access? Well, it is like, it's going to be a bit hard, to stick on someone because there are a lot of, different organizations and which are working on it at the larger level, at global level as well. This is the list, like, I can tell that, RDIS dashboard is also, looking for the, coral bleaching events globally. They have their, interactive maps and data and the graph to illustrate the current status of coral bleachings and where the users can explore the real-time or historical data as well. So at the same time, like, there's NOAA's Coral Reef Watch, Reef Base, Coral Global Reef Record as well. Well, from Australian perspective, yeah, they do have the Coral Reef Monitoring Network, the Nature's Conservation Reef Resilience Network as well. So in line with that, they have Coral Health Atlas, Integrated Coral Observatory Network, Australian Institute of Marine Sciences. So these are those global databases which are, already, monitoring that the impacts of the coral bleaching, how it's happening at which level. Well, I feel like, among those, like, I'm just, being neutral because I love graphics. And for the graphics perspective, like, if there is a data, I would prefer that, so from the list, you can go and, check out which is, healthy for you, depending on your interest and what you are looking for. And in addition to that, I believe that, RDIS dashboard for coral bleaching, it looks, one of those, important points as well. It can show you, like, from, 230 stations, this shows the impacts graphically, what's happening at the same time. So they have, interactive maps, as I said it already, looking at the corals bleaching events globally. So it can give you real-time or historical data. It depends on your interests of different locations wide world. While answering the first part of the question, the latest status is like, it's mostly referred to the, to the document, which is called like a 2014-2017 Global Coral Reef Bleaching Event, which was, third ever documented and is currently on the record for the as the longest, most widespread, and most damaging bleaching event. And which says that the Great Barrier Reef, along the other reefs around the world, including the Caribbean and Hawaii, they do experience global bleaching. And yeah, those bleaching events are like more than 75% of Earth's tropical reefs, which are already experiencing, bleaching levels, huge raise between 2014 and 17, and that's nearly 30% of the reefs, and it's reached to the mortality levels as well. So this is what I can can tell that can refer that the document and this the online databases for that. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah. We also like have one more question. Yeah. Also, Mr. Razak, like, could you please highlight like the most severe bleaching of global coral reef and like how many percent or kilometers?
Yeah, so interestingly, it is a follow-up question. I think, the thing that I was looking at, like, 2 months ago, is that, it refers, to the article which is published by, the news agency of Australia. And they said that, in 2012, so their team has been, looking for, they surveyed 91% of their reefs, along the Greater Barrier Reef. So it says that, severe bleaching events were reported to 60%, of the coral along the 5 kilometer stretch of the Great Barrier Reef. So this is on the top, which is being, considered as, vulnerable because of, some climatical changes. And the other thing is that maybe, this is what we see, that, it is being reported. So there's another factor as well, like, so are we just, referring this only the Great Barrier Reef because it is already communicated on the internet, or, being communicated with in form of news? What about those areas? Maybe there are some other areas where we don't have the access of monitoring of those areas as well. So this is something that, we need to consider as well. So in addition to that, I think, most coral bleaching events have been, 5 times higher or more common wide globally over the 40 years. So we need to, so the point is that, it is not only the Great Barrier Reef which is being vulnerable by losing the, coral communities, but, there is a need of, exploring or scaling up of those understandings or monitoring to other areas to understand the real impact which are happening to our, underwater communities such as coral reefs. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your support to share the answers for these two questions. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we will move to the next question. I would love to invite Ms. Alamos. So the question is, what is the best framework to create a marine conservation for coral reef in tropical sea like Bali in Indonesia?
Yes. I think what's the best framework that if you're planning to do it, I guess, is to look at the policy and the regulation existing in specific country, especially like in Bali, because different even in Bali they have like different restrictions. They have they're using different method, different I guess technology. So by looking at the policy and regulation, you are ensuring that you are collecting the right data, you are using the right methods of doing so, because it has been, I've worked with two organizations before who was doing research on coral reefs, and basically two organizations were using different data, and then by the end of the day none of them was used by the government because it was not up to the standard. And definitely I think in creating you have to be you consult with stakeholders. I think that's the most important part of doing so. And yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And yeah, and also Ms. Lamos, the next question is like, who is the most responsible person to handle coral reef conservation? Could you please share your perspective?
Yeah, I think this question not only applies for coral reef conservation, it applies to all activities we do for marine conservation. So what I experienced is that you based your, how do you say, you base your, who are the responsible ones are basically the people who have the local knowledge and the people who have the scientific knowledge. So this both goes hand in hand, because despite having all these facts, all this data, by the end of the day it's the community who implements. They are the one who are there, they are the one who experience the changes of the weather, the experiences like strong typhoon. So I think all the stakeholders, including the government, they need to work on together to, there's no such thing as responsible person. It's a responsible network of stakeholders working hand in hand to, to save the coral reefs and do something about it.
Yeah, thanks a lot for your support to share. Yeah, so we will move to the next question. Mr. Yasitu, so from your expertise in robotics and technology, could you please share potential technological solutions or innovations that could help in preventing coral bleaching in the future?
Yeah, so I think the the key role that the autonomous system or like a robotic system can play part in such activities is that it is not constrained to only coral bleaching, but again, could be generalized for all types of conservation events, either on like surface or the underwater environment. I think the key role that these will play is that they'll be able to do this 24/7. I mean, if you have the enough resources and the capabilities, obviously, people gathering around and working on this 24/7 sometimes is not sustainable because all these events also require some funding in the background so that those people will keep up with their lives as well. But this is a lot easier with autonomous robots, and in order to be able to orchestrate them together and complete a collaborative work, that's totally important. And autonomous systems or like robots in general are I think a lot better than humans to complete such tasks because within milliseconds you instruct your robots some commands to do certain tasks. Of course, this will require some technical knowledge to develop those kind of robots. But once they have been developed, I think they can execute the tasks more effectively, and so that people can use such tools to even reach deeper environments. Because I think the second biggest impact of those robots will be that they can reach to deeper depths, or like they can reach to places where the human activity would be dangerous for the humans as well. So I think robotics in general is a helpful resource to be able to build a better future for ocean environments.
Yeah, thanks a lot for your share. We also really hope so. For the next question is from Triwahil Prabhawal. I would like to invite Ms. Lin to share with us the answer. So the question is, developing underwater robots requires a lot of resources and funds. How do we convince conventional conservationists that applying robots for marine conservation is more profitable, both in terms of finances and the effects on the environment itself?
Well, thank you for the challenging question. So, to answer this question clearly but shortly, I would like to give a specific example from one of the problems we are aiming to solve, which is like what we have been sharing, the coral reef conservation. In this case, actually, the need for a robotic solution came from the conservationists, and the main reason here is to speed up the work. As we share in the presentation, the world has lost 50% of its coral and projection up to 90% by this century, and their recovery can take years to decades. The coral reefs are home to 25 of marine species, and they offer potential medicinal resources for ailments like cancer and infection. So if we can speed up coral reef conservation, we can foster more marine species and medicinal resources, which are essential to our human life. I hope that this answer is convincing to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Miss Lin. Yeah, so thank you, Miss Lin, and our guests for sharing all of the answers for our amazing questions. And it's also like challenging.